Marvel, Star Wars, Ninjago, Space, Monkey Kid, and now Disney. Mech sets are absolutely taking over LEGO, and today I'm going to add to the problem by creating 4 different mechs based on some of the most popular Disney characters. But a little disclosure, I've never actually built my own custom mech before, so in order to succeed, I want at least one of them to achieve a 5-star rating from the mech master himself, Firebird Bricks. First up, I wanted to try and build one in the classic copy and paste style of mech build with none other than Mickey Mouse. These original style of mechs utilized a lot of ball and socket joints, allowing for much more articulation than what some of the more recent ones have. It also allows the mech to have a lanky look to it, which I think is perfect for making Mickey Mouse. With Mickey being such an iconic character, I really needed to include the most recognizable elements of him, including his red pants, his white gloves, and of course his iconic Mickey ears. But since this is a mech though, he's not going to have a completely brick-built head. So this means that I'm gonna need to find a way to attach the ears to the body in a way that still keeps that classic Mickey Mouse silhouette. I use the designs of sets like the Miles Morales, Iron Man, and Spider-Man mechs to help work out how to build the shape of this body and built it up using majority black pieces. I added some ball joints to the shoulders and hips and tried to keep the design from being too thick and bulky. And with a couple of extra details on his pants, I moved on to the arms. For them, I layered ball joints on top of one another and used some bracket pieces and plates to finish off the design. And since Mickey has small legs, I tried to keep the limbs from looking too bulky, and then once I attached them to the body, I feel like I had a better idea of how the proportions were looking and began working on the feet. Since Mickey is known for having large yellow shoes, I wanted these to be a lot bigger and bulkier than his legs were. So I used the same style of build for the feet as this Thor mech had, and then modified the build slightly in order to make it match the round shape and yellow color for Mickey's feet. For his gloves, I used a very basic mech hand build that uses these sloped pieces and these clips to act as the fingers. Lastly, I needed to add his ears to the back and load Mickey inside. So with my Mickey mech all complete, it's time to see how my first attempt at building one ranks.
So I feel like this Mickey Mouse, he's looking pretty lanky. I like the pants detail. The ears as like this backpack thing that you've got going on here are pretty fun. I would give this 3.5 stars.
Next up, I wanted to attempt another classic character. However, this time they're gonna be from the 100 Acre Wood. Winnie the Pooh, like Mickey, is a character with a relatively simple design. Unlike Mickey though, I really wanted Pooh's mech design to feel a lot more bulky. And the main reason for that is that bear mechs are a really large part of Gundam and are personally some of my favorites. The round shape of them really stands out to me and I think would be a really fun design element for Winnie the Pooh. So that the mech would match the minifigure better, I wanted to use the same yellow color. However, since it's not as common as the standard yellow, it meant I had to get a bit more creative trying to build this mech. I made the body pretty similar to Mickey and then used this little slope piece up the top so that Pooh's round minifigure head would fit. For the arms on this one, to help achieve the more bulky look, I wanted to use these mech arm plates that LEGO has often used recently for their mech builds. They don't offer quite as much articulation as the ball joints, however the extra added width is exactly what I need, so it is well worth the sacrifice. I then grabbed some round bricks and curves from my parts to try and create a smooth and curved shoulder like those Gundam bears have. I then used similar pieces as I did for Mickey to create Pooh's hands, but had to make a couple of changes, like going with these gold pieces since there wasn't a suitable option in that same yellow color. Lastly, I needed to make Pooh's legs, and in order to counter the bulk of the body, I used ball joints again for this one, and then decorated them with a mix of curved slopes and plates. I was also able to use the exact same foot design from Mickey to complete the Pooh mech, and overall, I think it turned out pretty good. Whilst the mech is simple, I think it works really well as a Winnie the Pooh style build thanks to the colors and shape, but most importantly, how does Firebird feel?
Winnie the Pooh looks pretty good. I think that he definitely needs a weapon. He's certainly lacking in that department right now. The back is pretty basic, but the color scheme is very accurate. So I would give this 4 stars.
So if I'm gonna get 5 stars, I'm gonna need to do something really special. So next up, I decided to go with a character who naturally suits the mech style a little bit more, and that is kind of because essentially they are a mech. Buzz Lightyear has been reimagined as various mechs and in Gundam models for the last couple of years, giving me a lot of inspiration to pick from. And since they share a similar color scheme and in some ways shape, I picked up the LEGO Star Wars Stormtrooper mech to use as a base for Buzz. Looking at the character character of Buzz Lightyear, there are some really key elements to his design that I need to include here. And those to me are his laser, his Star Command patch, and most importantly of all, his backpack and iconic purple wings. So I got to work and started to build up the base by following LEGO's instructions and modifying a couple of pieces and colors as I went. In my eyes, the Stormtrooper design translates over to Buzz Lightyear so well, with the color scheme of Buzz adding some incredible accents to the canvas of that original Stormtrooper mech. Now the Stormtrooper mech, unlike the last couple I've used, utilizes this standard backplate, meaning I had to try and attach it using anti-stud connections. And whilst I found the design elements of the backpack itself pretty easy to build, the functionality of this was a completely different story. The arms and legs for Buzz were pretty standard, and for the most part I did use the base of the Stormtrooper mech and just modified things in order to make it look a little bit more accurate to the character. And then for the feet, the main thing was just to add in those purple touches to really make it feel like Buzz. The last thing I needed to do was create the wings. The wing build itself is very simple, just being made up of a bunch of different plates and brick pieces. However, I still needed to try and attach them to the backpack. And as I slot Buzz into the cockpit, the mech is finally complete. I feel like this build is such a big step up from the last two mechs that I've built and really makes me feel a little bit more confident about my mech building abilities. And I know that the character design and color scheme play a massive role in this, but I really feel like this Buzz Lightyear mech is a good chance at me finally achieving a 5-star rating.
I think that the wing details, impeccable. Honestly, perfect recreation. I think that the shoulders could be a little bit better because they're kind of just the Stormtrooper shoulders, but they look good. Really love the use of the stickered or printed piece on the front here is what it looks like. 4.5 stars. Honestly, it looks really accurate.
And last but certainly not least, I really wanted to turn the Toy Story alien into a mech, partially because they are one of my favorite Disney characters of all time, but two, I think it would be such a fun companion to go along with my Buzz Lightyear mech. The first step I took for this one was to replicate the Pizza Planet logo on the torso, and for that I just used one of these ice skating pieces since I thought it could work really well as that Saturn ring shape. Now as for the actual design of this mech, I'd planned for it to be predominantly blue with a small purple accent at the neckline and lime green for the hands. So I built up the body using a large amount of blue pieces and then added a small strip of purple for the neckline at the very top using a 1x4 plate. Once again, I used a lot of the same type of techniques as the rest of the mechs to finish off the body and then moved on to making some arms and legs. Just like Mickey, I ended up using some ball joint pieces, but this time I only did one section so that the arms and legs would be a lot shorter than the others, so that when he was finished, it could be a lot more closer in scale to the Buzz Lightyear. I tried to cover up some of the gray joints this time around by using some large bracket pieces, which I think looked quite well and still allowed me to have quite a bit of mobility despite having really short limbs. And with our alien all sat, the mech is complete, and I love how cute and small he is. It definitely is not anything groundbreaking in terms of techniques like the Buzz Lightyear one was, and just from accuracy alone, I feel like he's got a really good shot at getting a 5-star rating.
I love the fact that he's short. I feel like it makes a lot of sense. The color scheme is really fun. I like that you have these oversized green hands on him. That's also pretty good. And some fun little details here. I think just for the fact that he looks so silly, I would give this 3.5 stars. Very entertaining. Very nice.
So I may not have gotten 5 stars, but what is important is that I tried to build a completely different mech style than I ever have before and had fun doing it. So let me know what your favorite mech was down in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to my channel, although I'm probably never going to do a mech video again.